Central New York, and hello, hockey fans all across the internet, and welcome to the Central New York Hockey Report podcast right here on the Studio 25 Podcast Network. I'm your host, Scott Kinville, and I got to tell you, it feels really good to be back. I've been on the shelf, on the IR, if you will, for a while here. That's why we haven't been doing any shows. But that's just about in the rearview mirror. Looking forward to the light ahead. I'm just hoping it's not a freight train coming the other way. We have got a great show coming up for you here. Before we bring in our guests, though, as always, I've been waiting for a long time to do this because I've really missed this. I want to bring in my sidekick, my producer, Mr. Dave, the Save Warner.
When was the last time we did a show?
Well, let's see. I went out in
November.
It was the end of November, early December.
You had a couple procedures.
Yes, we'll just say that. Yes.
You could talk about the facial procedure if you want.
I like this. Okay, so as everybody knows, my full-time job is I'm a firefighter EMT, and of course you can't have a beard, right? Well, I'm out until the end of January. I'm still convalescing, if you will. And the one thing I've been wanting to do over these past 16 years is have a beard. You know, I get jealous around June because playoff beards, it's all the big talk in hockey, right? Yep. And I can't have a beard. Well, guess what? Now I can.
This is your playoff beard.
This is my playoff beard.
It's right, a preview for when you retire.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay.
This month is my Stanley Cup.
All right.
So anyways, I want to bring in our guest. Our guest is just a tremendous friend of this show. Tremendous friend of mine personally. This guy is just wonderful. He is a Colgate graduate. He is the executive director of the Connecticut Hockey Foundation, Mr. Eric Opin. Eric, how are you?
It's great to be back. Great to see you're back off the IR as well. We all have our IR nicks and cuts and bruises, and it's just good to be back for everybody. But thanks for having us.
Hey, no problem. You know, I got sent down to the minors for a conditioning stint. We'll just say that.
It was a lot further than that.
With extensive rehab.
Yes, that too.
That too.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So Eric, lots going on around here. I mean, you know, obviously you're a big Colgate hockey guy, having been associated with the team way back in the 90s. So you are, I would say, one of my Colgate guys that I go to when I want to talk about Colgate hockey. So before we get into what we're going to be talking about here, tell us a little about what you see with the team this year.
I saw them Friday night at Quinnipiac, and there are really a lot of nice pieces. It's obviously a transition, to a new coaching staff, but this is the first year of the recruiting class, and it's a nice blend of certainly players that can put pucks in the net. That's not been an issue with them at this point. Like anything else, there are times in experience. They had a tremendous loss to graduation and the transfer portal, particularly on the blue line and in the goal, and they've been filling that. And they've actually, from the first week I saw them at UConn to 3 months later, Friday night at Quinnipiac, the strides have been significant. And
for sure,
credit to the staff. And if you saw them at the UConn weekend in stores at the beginning of the season, you were really worried. But that hasn't been the case. I let the record speak for themselves. I think. Real good weekend at Cornell, but like I said, they can put 2 to 3 lines up front and put the puck in the net, and they've proven that by, putting 6 up at Princeton and even 4 at Quinnipiac, and that's, it's like anything else, keeping the pucks out of the net, and it's going to be, I think the key is like anything else to tighten up defensively, and, this time of the year, you got to win the 1-goal games. That's what it comes down to. The best teams in hockey, it doesn't matter what every level is in 1-goal games, and certainly individual players are getting a lot of attention, like Brett Chorsky, who, is free agents, or he's looking at a free agent contract at the end of the year. But
for sure,
we're just other players. They've just got the pieces are coming together. Again, the nice part is and I've always respected the staffs they've had, but I'm at the age where you can pass the torch along, and this is a staff that has an idea of where to recruit, and more particularly how to handle these NCAA regulations that are just coming at you. It's not that the change is so dramatic, but the whole, it's coming at you so quickly, and how you react and how you do it. And, when you're in your certain age group, it's harder. So no pun to Mike, but, credit to Zach Battlemente, Anthony Walsh, and Chris Nell on, getting on it and working hard. So it's It's a staff that's really done a good job, and they've been really engaging with the alumni. It's like anything else, taking time to put their stamp in, but there's a lot to really like.
I would absolutely agree with you on that one. And you mentioned the changes, like excuse me, the recent rule change with the Canadian Hockey League players now being able to play D1 hockey in the NCAA is going to be a major change that, actually for the better for NCAA. It's going to be, more talent pool, but that's something that everybody's going to have to contend with going down the road. And yeah, and I really think that Colgate is on the right trajectory. I really do.
Yeah, it's like anything else. This is a very forward-thinking group, and it's a group that understands the process. And they've already got, I know, at least one commit from the CHL, but they're catching up. It's the new thing. I think it may slow down once the implementation of this happens, but I think one of the things to watch for is what I call the legal expression, the unintended consequences. It's going to be very interesting to watch how this affects the USHL, and particularly how it affects the prep schools and what's going on with USA Hockey and development programs. And the prep schools are getting younger and younger because the USHL and these development teams are plucking off better players. They're plucking off the younger mid-sized players. So that's going to be a change to watch out for that I'm starting to see. But, again, credit to the staff to, keep an eye on it and, keep the focus on it. So they've really got the pieces in place, and it's let's see what happens.
For sure, for sure. And I'm just looking forward to see where this program goes because, like I said, they really are on the right path, and they certainly, like you mentioned, not only having Coach Harder on the staff, but the assistants are really what's going to make this program take off. So let's switch gears here and let's talk about that Connecticut Hockey Foundation, because what you guys do out there is so tremendous. We met talking about the backstory with Coach Bagney, and tell us a little bit, just so for anybody who hasn't known, a little bit of the backstory about the Connecticut Hockey Foundation.
We'll give you the fast food version of it, but it's right now we were formed in 2016 in memory of Jason Pagney, who was a Connecticut hockey icon, who was a coach, mentor, mentor, mediator, everything you wanted, advocate for Connecticut hockey players. He was a Merrimack grad and an Avon Old Farms graduate, and we'll get back to that in a second. That's a particular piece, and we lost him, unfortunately, in a car crash in 2014. I was his lawyer for a dozen years, and there are always backstories. Jason was a lot of fun, and the first 2 years, his great friend CJ Maritolo was able to get us, before Sacred Heart put up their rink, a couple of benefit games where we played NCAA games in prep school settings or community rinks for real NCAA games, and the funds went to the care of his daughter's educational funds. And we were able to raise about $26,000 between the first two games. And the momentum and the emotion of the attendees and the family and the friends of Jason, people and friends talked about it, and we just said, let's form a foundation and, put it together, put the legal paperwork together. And that was established in 2016. And we've done a series of fundraisers, including NCAA games, fundraisers at certain events. And it's been a labor of love, certainly. And we've been sustaining it. And today we've awarded over 13,000 in grants to deserving individuals and organizations that need our assistance, that quietly identify to them. But it's really a tribute to the people behind the scenes that really loved and knew Jason. He was the guy, the names of the Shattenkirks, the Quicks, Pacioretty's, Atkinson, all these players that grew up, particularly in Southwest Connecticut, that he mentored. The Pereira brothers took him to levels that really weren't seen. And Jason was the master at bringing all. You guys know hockey is a lot of what we call dysfunctional hubs, and Jason was the master of bringing them all together. He was in the process of starting a fall prep league, similar to Minnesota. That obviously, sadly, didn't happen, and he was the Pied Piper, and you knew he was around, and we miss him tremendously. But in a way, we were trying to get back to what's been clearly over the last 10 years, a hole that's never been filled.
Yeah, and that's a hole that's impossible to fill. Really, you'll never be able to replicate what he did. But it's truly, he was one of those guys, and your organization as well. What we say that just get it, right? And I know that's kind of a vague saying, but it's so true, and it's just it holds in everything. That when you get it like he did and like you guys do, the sky's the limit.
Well, it's more than that, but again, it's a credit to the friends of Jason who got it from Jason and what Jason brought to them. And, we get, we'll get into the donations, but so many of these donations are personal to people. Like Jason was an Avon Old Farms grad, and one of his schoolmates was a guy named Ryan Martin, who everybody knows very well in the hockey world, who's now the assistant GM of the New York Rangers. And, we're lucky to get phone calls returned, and that's just the gift. And Ryan was great. Ryan's built a career of Calder Cups in Grand Rapids, and now he's really turning around Hartford. He's a lawyer, contract guy, but not just him, but, Kevin Shattenkirk, who goes without saying, who just retired with the Bruins, is our honorary board member, and Marty St. Louis kids were coached by him, Pierre McGuire. So, it's not just, us, I wouldn't say the words getting it, but the passion of the donors is really, and the passion of the family is, it continues. I think what's kind of amazing is it's really hasn't let up. It's been unmatched. I mean, it's something that kind of marvels people around them, and, everybody knew him. And, it's just it's a rare opportunity to get, people in the same room. And as, the word gratitude comes by often.
Right. And what I mean by you understand just how important,
oh yeah,
that's what I'm getting at, is just how important Jason was, and the gravity of this situation with carrying on the work of the foundation is just tremendous. And the people have been tremendous.
Oh, again, we count our blessings in the word, gratitude. When you come up, people say, how do you come up with it? And one of the things I think it's important, we'll get into the foundation fundraiser, is everything is directly from the donors. I think that's a huge thing. When you get something from us, you're not getting a secondhand product. You're not getting, these are really directly from the clubs, directly from the organizations. And again, that speaks to really the fortunate luck, and work that we're doing and the support that we receive.
No doubt about it. So let's talk about the fundraiser, because like I said, you mentioned the fundraising games. We got a huge one coming up on Friday with the fundraisers, the games. Tell us what's going on.
Well, it's part of Connecticut Ice, and we're very fortunate to have again, Jason's great friend was CJ Maritola, who's been the head coach at Sacred Heart for 15 years. And Sacred Heart is hosting Connecticut Ice, which is Connecticut's equivalent of the Beanpot, where the 4 Division I college teams play each other on a doubleheader Friday and Saturday. It's a little different from the Beanpot, where it's not 2 consecutive Mondays, it's 2 consecutive days. And this year we're at the state-of-the-art Sacred Heart Martyr Family Arena. And if anybody has been there, whoa, that's all I've got to say. It is it's the best rink in the East. I mean, they really never cut. It's just incredible. But we're going to have our hybrid silent fundraiser and auction. We're going to start at 3:00. There's going to be a podcast, and there's going to be 2 really good games on SNY. The first game is Quinnipiac and UConn, and the second game is Sacred Heart and Yale, and the winners and the runners-up play the next day. But we're having our hybrid. We're going to have a table. We'll have a banner backdrop. There's going to be a one-cause hybrid auction that people in Central New York can participate in and view the 16 or 17 items that we put up there. And there's more coming. But you register, you put a credit card or a debit card on there, and you bid, and it's you get told if you get outbid, it's going to be over a 6 to 7 hour period on there. There are going to be special surprises for the attendees. There may be a special autograph session. We're working on things, and we try and get creative. And we've talked about this in the past, Scott and Dave, with some twists that we add to the donations and prizes. And again, people just, we're looking forward to what we think is going to be a lot of fun, reminisce about Jason, and have a special time where we get together at a really a very high profile event. So we're lucky to be part of it.
Yeah, we're going to put up the graphic in just a second on how you can sign up online. While we're doing that, I mean, you've been media blitzing this. This has been fantastic. You've been on Sirius XM Radio. Mention the podcast. Tell us a little bit about that too, because that's going to be really cool having that happening as the auction's going.
Well, it's going to be at 3:00 on Friday Live. It's called the Sick Podcast on YouTube. Features Jimmy Murphy on site, who's a longtime journalist in Boston, and Pierre McGuire, who everybody knows very well. Pierre will be interviewing us remotely, talking about Connecticut hockey. Pierre knew Jason very well because he coached Ryan. His son was coached by Jason during one of the brick tournaments when he was a young child. But they're going to be interviewing us, talking about Connecticut hockey, talking about Jason Pagney, talking about just, how the growth in Connecticut hockey has come to being. So we've done that. Bernie Corbett's been very kind, the legendary BU who does College Hockey Weekly, who's put us on last week. And we're going to be doing a few more things here and there that we get to, but we're excited for and you'll see the ECAC, and again, Doug Christensen and Hockey East are putting our materials online. So, we're getting the word out, and, it's important to do that, and not just to, hey, we've got the good product, but more importantly, just have an opportunity to look at it and see what interests you.
Sure.
But again, it's real products, and more's coming, trust me.
Well, I mean, those are tremendous people helping out too, and we thank you for including us and coming in to talk to us. I'm going to put that graphic on right now, how to sign up. It's going to be right there, and we're going to show that again before the end of the show. And I also want to let everybody know that coming tomorrow, we're going to have not only the podcast itself coming out, but we're going to have an article at CNYHockeyReport.com that's going to include all this, and it's going to be pinned to our X account. We're going to be putting it all over our Facebook and Instagram. So this is wait do we start showing some of these items? They're going to see why I'm so excited about this.
Put them on now.
Let's do it. So let's see. What do we want to talk about first? We'll start off small here. We'll go with the one on there. You go, that one right there,
Mr. Blutarski. Let's do it. This is it's not fully on the website yet because we have to talk to our vendor, but this is the Connecticut Hockey Foundation Hat Trick Pack, which is a cool combination of three things. It's the ice cream holder, I call it, where you can put up to a pint of your favorite burnt dairy ice cream while you're watching your soap operas or television. And there's also a phone charger backpack. You put your credit card, your wallet there. And of course, my personal favorite was the Connecticut Hockey Charger, where you can charge your phone, which when we had our game last year at Avon Old Farms, we gave that as a thank you to the players and the participants. And it's it's sort of like that's become sort of like we're Flat Stanley, where some people have actually posted that at certain sites across the U.S. So it's been but that's purchased for a mere $12. So we're going to have that up probably tomorrow. So it's really cool. We like to, and thanks to our vendors who give us an at cost for this, but we think this is a quality product that, we're not, it's not a tchotchke, that's for sure.
For sure. And I'll tell you something. I mean, you sent me one of the battery chargers there. I can tell you that I didn't get to use much of it because my wife and kids, as soon as that came in, oh, that's ours. I'm like, oh, well, just keep the Connecticut Hockey Foundation in mind, kids. Geez, thanks.
Well,
but
just show them where to donate.
Yeah,
well, exactly. Well,
my kids are probably going to get a quarter.
Well, it's funny because I got a call from my daughter goes to school down in Virginia, and one of her roommates was fascinated by it too. So it's gone to different parts of the country, which is pretty cool. But there's going to be a limit to 50 of them. But there's they're good stuff, and they work really well. And I agree, it's a very nice looking product. And one of the things too that those who are in attendance there will be some swag at the booth. So this is a little bit of the nice swag, we call it.
That's awesome. So let's go over to the one on the right there, the pizza one. I was curious when you sent me this screenshot. So tell me about this.
Okay. New Haven, Connecticut is the pizza capital of the world. Dave Portnoy, and anybody who follows Barstool, it's the greatest pizza town on the planet. And as a kid who grew up in New Haven County and returned to New Haven County, you can go to 30 different pizza joints independently in 30 nights, and they're all fantastic. And one of them is Saparti's. And Saparti's is a legendary pizza joint in West Haven, Connecticut, in the middle of a residential neighborhood that started as a bakery in the 1920s. And besides their fantastic pies, they're known for their homemade salads, and they're famous for their cannolis are a knockout on dessert. The dessert may be even as good, but it's from top to bottom, maybe the best. And Portnoy, when he did the evaluation, he gave him like an 8, and they said they're famous for their homemade fennel sausage pies. And they gave him one, and he goes, "Oh, that's another half point up." So it's New Haven, Connecticut. Anybody who can get down there, it really is. And it's not just the places that are corporate, but the nice part about Saparti's is you can get their frozen pies on a gold belly. But they're a hockey family. That's the key. They're a hockey family. They're married into the hockey communities in West Haven and New Haven County. And there'll be two $50 gift cards. That's what that is. So they're posted on the site. So for the locals that are there, or anybody who gets down to New Haven County, again, the pizza, it is that good. It is one of a kind. Sorry, New York.
Now you're making me hungry too, on top of it. Thanks.
Yeah, it is lunchtime.
Well, their favorite, remember, when they cook it, it's a little burnt, and it's never burnt. The word is char.
Gotcha.
And there's a great documentary about the history of New Haven pizza by a guy named Colin Kaplan, who's a pizza historian. It's on YouTube. It's about a 70-minute documentary about the originals and the immigrants, and it's really a quality academic product. So I would urge you to talk. And Saparti's is one of the places they talk about. So it's awesome. We were there 2 weeks ago.
Is that char on the bottom or the top?
Whatever you want it. The char's on the bottom.
Okay.
But
on the bottom, I'd be all right with.
They're famous for their clam casino pie, but their fennel sauce. And again, my son turned me on to the cannolis. All I just got to say is holy bleep on those.
Well, might have to make a road trip someday.
New Haven's
Well,
not that far. 3 hours.
4.5, but
it's 3 from us.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah.
It's good.
Especially if it's as good as he says it is, then it'll be well worth it.
Yeah.
So,
well, the kids. My son is on the West Coast. That's the one place he comes back to, and he just takes a picture. I'll show you. I could send you a picture of one of our half-eaten pies at some point. Because we there's an inside joke where we send it to these guys in New Haven County, and it's like, guess the pizza joint.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's actually a good idea.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I like
they're
that.
They're really, and I'm not talking about Modern and Sally's and Pepe's. Some of them are so big, they're corporate. Pepe's got 17 of them now. Sally's is owned by a Wall Street hedge fund. It's crazy.
Right.
These are places when it's kids. So pizza on, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right, let's move along to some of the jerseys here. So let's go to the green one. Go to Miro Heiskanen. All right. So there's the front view, of course. And I'll tell you, I love those Dallas sweaters. I really do.
I like that.
And if we go to the back, there you go. He has signed it, and it is available in the auction.
Yeah, this is a special thanks to Colgate classmate Steve Spott of the famous 1990 team and the Dallas Stars Foundation. And, they've been very kind to donate through the foundation this signed jersey, and it's going to be up for a silent auction. And anybody who watches the Dallas Stars knows that Miro Heiskanen is probably a top 5 defenseman in the National Hockey League. He's that good and that special. He'll be part of the Four Nations, and obviously is the famous victory screen. And the other thing to encourage any of you metalheads, you guys metalheads, are you guys Pantera fans?
You know what? I was a big metalhead back in the day, and I could still, as far as like the old school. Oh yeah.
Greatest goal song in the National Hockey League is Pantera has an original Dallas Stars. When Dallas scores a goal, everybody's got a beer and the hands are up in the air, and it's Dallas Star. It's because Pantera is a Dallas band, and they hooked up with the Stars when they won their cup in the late 90s. And but anybody who follows them in all seriousness realizes how good an organization they are, not only in the charities, but Jim Nill and Pete DeBoer and friends. And they run just a fantastic organization, and they just got players coming in all the time. And Heiskanen was part of their amazing first round with him, Jake Ottinger, and Jason Robertson. Bang, bang, bang. Those were their first 3 picks. It was a pretty good draft.
Yeah, I would say so.
So it's really cool.
And like I said, it's such a clean looking jersey. I love that jersey. I really do. Let's see. Oh, we got to put this one up. So there you go, Dave. Anybody who knows hockey knows that one right there. That is Ray Bourque. Ray Bourque, if you put the back there you go. He's signed it right along the 7. Oh, my goodness. That's another jersey. I wish they had never gone away from that. I really do. I love like we had talked earlier, I love the Cubs on top of the shoulders. Oh, my God. It's such a perfect, pretty jersey. It really is. And I hate to say the word pretty and associated with hockey, but still, it's awesome.
Well, and not only is it awesome, it speaks to the Bourque family, and I think people don't give the Bourque family their charity, or they have the Bourque Family Foundation, and this, getting to know his son Chris, who's in the business, and they're just super people. More importantly than that, they do remarkable work in New England and all over. And obviously Raymond Bourque is the late Fred Cusick used to say that Raymond Bourque is really you can make an argument that he's on the Mount Rushmore of Boston athletes of all time. And
for sure.
That's what makes this special. And the signature is really cool, HHOF 04. And we think this is going to fetch, again, a credit to the Bruins and the Bruins Foundation. And I've told you privately, Scott, if anybody knows charity, knows their community, nobody does it like the Boston Bruins Foundation.
You know what? And if you go to the website, that point is very well illustrated, because there's a lot of Bruins stuff on there too. We just don't have the screenshots for all of them, but I mean, there's a team signed jersey for the 2024-25 Boston Bruins. You got stuff from Jeremy Swayman on. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. McAvoy, thank you. All kinds of stuff from the Bruins, and
again, why educate? Anybody who tells you education doesn't matter is through another Colgate classmate, Andrew Dixon, who was a class of '93, was part of the NCAA run. He's a full-time scout for the Bruins, so he was able to introduce some parties to me. It's great to have the connection, but the Bruins just they do it the right way. They really do it the right way, and win or lose, you can see the relationship they have with the fans. And if you watch the broadcasts, watch the work that I think the number is like 71 million in funds they've distributed over 25 years. It's just a remarkable organization led by former Bruin Bob Sweeney, and he's got a son playing at college hockey too, which helps.
Yeah, that's so incredible. That really is. Some of the other items on there that we just don't have the screenshots up for. Ryan McDonough, speaking of an organization that does it right, the Tampa Bay Lightning, and you said that there's more coming.
Well, about Tampa Bay, everybody in Central New York, because I believe they're the Crunch affiliate, correct?
Syracuse Crunch, correct.
And internally, everybody praises the Crunch and the Lightning and what they do. But I can tell you more stuff's coming. I can tell you there's something coming in from the Nashville Predators. And it's not Steven Stamkos. Okay, good, because he's having a tough year. But I'll give you a hint. It's their Hall of Fame defenseman. And again,
well, I think we can all put that together. I won't say it out loud, but. And
again, it's another Colgate connection, Greg Dreschel, 88. But we know who it is. Is he Swiss? I believe he's Swiss.
Yes.
He's Swiss. But that's on its way. Everybody always asks about the New York Rangers. There's something coming. I don't know what it is. It's kind of you gotta be patient, obviously. Oh, and the other is the Devils. That's a combination pack. I don't know exactly what it's going to be, but it's coming. I know that thanks to one of their internal contacts. So the Utica Comet, the Utica, New Jersey thing sticks. So those are coming. There's going to be other non-hockey stuff that you just wait out and see, and it's just going to be a fun night reminiscing, about Jason and putting some, more funds into, needy causes and legacies, and people. There's a need. Hockey just the cost is just, as extraordinary. Oh, and the other one is True Sports has got a skate fitting. That's pretty good.
Yes. There's ticket packages on there from Hockey East,
Oh, yeah.
ECAC, all kinds of stuff. If you're a hockey fan, this is what you've definitely got to check out. And like I said,
the ECAC, special thanks to Doug Christensen for a 4-pack pass to Lake Placid. Anybody who's been up there knows it's it's a little tough to get to, but once you get there, it's awesome. Hockey East has got a combination ticket package. UConn, 4-pack, 4 games at the new Toscana Forum with a private tour of the facility from the coaching staff directly with pictures. Yale's given us 4, Quinnipiac's given us 4 and 4. Sacred Heart's got stuff. I mean, the fact that we're hosting by Sacred Heart is enough already, because their facility is just, like I said, you'll see when the games are on CNY, the backdrop of the facility, you're not going to believe it, Scott. You're just not going to believe it.
No, I'll tell you, that's another very worthy road trip someday, for sure. So Eric, I want, like I said, we're gonna push the heck out of this, because this is such a not only a worthy cause, but such an amazing array of items you have. Before we go, though, you mentioned the Utica Comets, and you ran into an old friend of the Utica Comets, of course, former head coach Kevin Dineen, who is still absolutely beloved here in Central New York. So how's Coach Dineen doing?
Great. Kevin Dineen, before you get into how he's doing, he is Connecticut through and through. He is the final Hartford Whaler captain, as everybody probably knows. Got on the microphone the last game, which anybody would shed a tear. Kevin married a Connecticut, met his wife in Hartford. So he's got still family in Connecticut. And, where there's, what's the old expression, where a lemon comes in, you can make lemonade. So Kevin, unfortunately, had a problem, was let go in Utica, and has spent a lot of time in Connecticut with watching his son, who's a captain at Yale, and Will Dineen, who you'll see in the second game. But he's been I saw him at a game in Ingalls Rink and had a really good chat. He keeps his place up in Lake Georgia. He's just the total salt of the earth, as everybody knows. And he's just and what I hear about his son from the coaching staff, they just say they can't believe we're lucky to have Will as our captain. And, Kevin is just one of those guys. He's from a hockey family, but he's also Connecticut. And he'll be on, unfortunately, he can't make day 1 of the event, but he's going to be at day 2, and they'll be doing an interview with him on CNY between one of the periods. I know that he acknowledged it. So just a good man, just a genuinely good man. And, the other Connecticut parent I should mention at Yale is Mike Richter, whose son Will plays at Yale. And Mike's just one of the really bright. He had a brother, I guess, that went to Colgate, and all he hears about is Seven Oaks. That's all he hears about. He said, "Get me on Seven Oaks." And but Kevin's just, what you see with Kevin is what you get. He was a tough, hard-nosed player, had a wonderful NHL career, but more importantly, he's got values we love, and in a lot of ways, he still has Connecticut very much near and dear to his heart.
Absolutely. And, I mean, like I said, when he was here in Utica, the fan base just absolutely loved the guy, because, like you said, blue collar, salt of the earth, just one of us, right? And just a tremendous guy, and we really do miss him. That's for sure.
And the best part is seeing him. I mean, he's in shape. He could play right now.
Yeah, I know, right?
I was like, oh my God, because he walks in, he's got a skull cap, and he's got the warm-up suit. He's ready to go. I'm like, if you ever saw him play, he played every shift like it was his last shift of his
NHL
career. Oh, was he hard on the puck?
Yes, he was.
And honestly, I'm not saying this because he was my all-time favorite Hartford Whaler.
Yeah, I mean,
everybody talks about the Samuelsons, the Quenvilles, but
Ronnie
Kevin
Francis, right?
Ron, it was pretty good.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Ray Ferraro, not bad.
Yeah, Ferraro too, exactly. So many good players came out of Hartford. It's unbelievable.
Well,
You know?
it's not only that. A lot of them met their wives, and a lot of them are NHL head coaches or TV analysts, guys like Tippett and Quenneville and Ronnie Francis in Seattle. So
Yeah.
the water was pretty good here, believe it, despite what the NHL says.
Yeah, totally agree with you, my friend. Totally agree. Well, Eric, thank you for taking the time to come on and talk to us about this awesome event you got coming up. And like I said, it'll be up there on the website and how you can participate. And like I said, the items are unbelievable. The work you do is top notch, fantastic. And like I said, we appreciate the time.
It's a pleasure and a privilege. Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Scott. And thanks to everybody in Central New York. And hope to see you at the rinks soon.
Absolutely. All right. That's all the time we got. That was Eric Opin, Executive Director of the Connecticut Hockey Foundation. I'm Scott Kimball for Dave the Save Warner. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time on the Central New York Hockey Report podcast.